was madly in love. I could do nothing but think about her. I could do nothing but imagine. I could do nothing but make things around. Every thought was around how she is, how she looks, what she does. All of that, all the time, non-stop. But I was that very shy guy. I would never dare to look anyone in the eye. I would never dare to tell a girl I love her. But I was tired of that. Because especially she was sitting in the seat in front of me in the classroom for 2 years in a row. So I can't breathe without seeing her. All the time, 6 hours a day in the classroom. And that was very challenging. But I was so shy. But I would find tricks. So during the exam, I would come without a pen. So the teacher gave us the paper to write the answers. And I said, I don't have a pen. So she turns around to give me a pen. And I write these answers with her pen. And I would keep the pen in my hand. I wouldn't give it back. So she would come to me and say, hey, can I get my pen? So I can see her looking me in the eye. But every time she would come to me, I would get so nervous, I don't know what to do. So I would, hide behind my finger in a way I write. So say, I forgot, I don't know what to say. I was so nervous, so shy as a guy, as a little boy, And then at some point I decided this cannot go on anymore. I need to have a revolution in my life. I need to dare to do something that is so important for me. So I decided to take a pen and a paper and to write the first letter of love in my life. And so I take it and I think and I think and I think for hours and hours. What should the first letter say? What word? Is it a poem? Is it the painting? What should it be? So I decided to type that paper, take that pen, and I came with the most brilliant idea. I wrote the first letter of my name, O, and the first letter of her name, H, in a heart. And I colored it with red. And I folded it so nicely. And I put it in my pocket next to my heart. And I go to school. And during the break, I sneak into the room. And I put it on her chair. And then, when everybody's back on the break, I go to the corner of the room. I don't want to be too close when she falls in love. So I stand here, and I see her coming in with her friends. And you need to understand, to imagine how beautiful she is, how funny she is, how strong, how so many things. And the way she walks, like a queen, like she doesn't care, her shoulders to the back, say, hey, it's me, She walks, and with every step, my heart is just beating faster and faster. And she comes to the chair, she sees that note. She takes the note. She opens the note. And she reads the note. Doesn't take a long time to read. She reads the note. She's holding the note in both hands. And she's walking. She's imagining how much she should love me. And she's walking with it. And walking with it. And she's holding the note in one hand. And next to the door, there is a trash can. My heart was put in the trash can. I can't stand sitting behind her all these hours after that moment. It's only the first break. I go home and I'm so upset, so angry, don't know what to do. I sit in that corner, I lock the door. My mom called on me, Omar, come jib khubz. Got us some? No, I'm studying. Sitting in the corner, I would want to cry. I'd rather than anything else. And in the darkest moment, hope comes. How would she know it's me? There were 7 Omars in the classroom. How would she know it's me? So I decided to have that brilliant idea. I take the pen and the paper, and I write her a letter. O, H, and a heart in the middle. With some glitter on it, and my perfume. And I drop it in the seat, and she comes in, and she takes the note. She would know it's me. It's my perfume, that very cheap perfume. Inevitably, she's going to know. She opens that note, holding the note with both hands, walking. My heart is about to fall. She never cared. She, as my heart, everything it was telling me, she's ugly, she's annoying, she's, try to remove her from your head, but I couldn't. I go back home. And it's so dark, it's so sad, I don't know what to do. You know, that's the most important thing that was happening in my life. What, do you think school was important? No. The only reason school was important is because of her. There was nothing that was relevant, importantly relevant in my life, except that love, that good feeling I had. And in the darkest moments, hope comes again. What girl on earth would like to have a note in her purse that's so guy perfumed that she's gonna smell like a guy? Of course she doesn't want to have that in her purse. So I decided to come with a brilliant idea to write her a letter. So I took O, an H, and a heart in the middle. I color it red, glitter on it, and I go to my mom. Can I use your perfume? I go to my sister. Can I get your perfume? My other sister. Can I get your perfume? My third sister. My fourth. I have four sisters. I get their perfume. My aunt, my neighbor, any female perfume that you could ever have, and I perfumed it so much, and I take it the day after. This is it. You know, I'm gonna make it. And I put it there, and she's coming in from the break, and I was heartbroken so many times that I can't see images playing faster than the reality. I see her picking it up and walking towards the trash and throwing it faster than reality. And she comes in and she takes the note and she opens the note. And this note smells so much perfume it could kill the whole classroom. And then she opens that note, and then the glitter is dropping and she's walking. You know how your heart beats when everything's gonna just go so bad. She's walking next to the door. And as soon as she comes towards the door, she puts it in her pocket. She walks out. And I knew she was in love, severely in love. She could do nothing but think about me anymore, you know? And I thought I could not be happier. I could not sit. I would raise my hand to any question the teacher has. I just wanted to be so visible. I go home, Mom, do you need help? Can I clean your stuff? You know, can I buy you bread? Can I do anything? You know, I was so excited. And that excitement ended a few days later when I was called to go to the first protest. And for the first time in my life, I see the police standing in front of the people with their guns, aiming at the face of the workforce. And you know what's going to happen. Are they going to shoot or not? Those are the police, those are the military of my country, that's my people. They hear, they're supposed to protect us. And in the middle of your thoughts and questioning everything, and they start shooting people. And people die for the first time in their life. The first time in my life I see people dying. Blood. Not random people, not people who I don't know. My friend was dying, actually. And people were running away, calling on me, Omar, run away. But I couldn't run away, I froze in my place. You know, I didn't know what to do. And they take me to prison from there. And they torture me. And they try to break you not only physically, but mentally. You know, disconnect you from your humanity. They see you. They make sure to see you in pain. They make sure put you in mental pain. They would force me to torture my favorite person on earth, my cousin. And they forced my cousin to torture me. So we lose our humanity. We lose our love to anything we could imagine that was lovable. But in that dark cell, I would sit. You know, even though it was terrible, it was sad, it was dark, it was annoying, it was painful, I was starved. I would have a lot of good moments thinking about something beautiful, just like the girl I love. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I was keeping the images in my head. I was like a school time. You go to school every day. For me, I would try to remember our hometown. I would remember her sitting behind her in the classroom the first time she opened the letter, the first time she threw it in the trash. All of these details, I would imagine it. Even if it was painful, it was beautiful because it was outside. You know? And then at some point, half a year later, I couldn't remember anymore. I couldn't see her. I could not construct her image in my head anymore. I was starved. I was in pain, and the only thing I see is people dying. I never seen anyone get out. And I start to lose memories, not only of her, but of my family. And then you start to disconnect from any life outside of this cell. That was fantastic. Because sitting in this cell, even though it's terrible and painful, and you're sitting in a place like this, it's so tiny, you are not surrounded by walls, you're surrounded by other prisoners. It's a human wall. Those prisoners, none of them are criminals. Those prisoners are well-educated people, the top people of your country. They were arrested for that reason, because they are so good. So the regime need to get rid of them. So next to me sits a prisoner who is a doctor. To the other side, a psychologist. In front of me is a lawyer. And he's an engineer, and there's a professor. What do you think the doctor is talking to me about? What do you think the doctor is talking to me about?
How to survive?
How to survive physically. You know, what do you think the psychologist is talking to me about?
How to survive mentally?
How to survive mentally. What do you think the lawyer is talking about?
Human rights.
Human rights. How to construct a mechanism so we don't kill each other because of starvation, steal each other's food. So everybody was using what they have learned in their life to build a system so we can survive. Teach the people around them something useful. So instead of being that little boy, 17 years old in prison, have no functional life, nothing meant anything except that love I had. Suddenly I'm sitting in the darkest place you could ever imagine. And when it's the darkest, that's when it's sometimes easier to find hope. So I will learn everything they teach me. Those people will die. Because when a doctor is 60 years old, I broke his arm or his leg, he will die. He wouldn't heal because he's being tortured every day. I could heal faster. They will teach me everything because they wanted their legacy to stay alive. So they invested in me all the time. Because I could physically survive much longer because I'm much younger. I heal faster. And the doctor will teach me and he will die and I will make sure the other prisoner whose arm is broken, I can help him. And the other one who is like mentally suffering. I have learned so many techniques. I have processed my trauma on a daily basis. I have talked about it. I have managed to find ways to associate my trauma with a reward in the afterlife. And for me, pain was associated with something good I will receive afterwards. So it minimized the impact, the pain that comes out of it, of the torture. And I could teach these stuff to other people. That gave me function in my life for the first time, something useful to do, something important. I was saving lives. When you save life, do you think you feel good about that or not? If you save a life, do you feel good? Do you feel good if you save life? I was saving so many lives on a daily basis, so I was loving my life. I wasn't loving torture, of course not. But I used to it. 2 years later, you're being tortured on a daily basis. What do you think? You get used to it. Your body is capable of getting used to pain. You know, if you can't try it yourself, you hit yourself on the hand for 50 times. It hurt the first 30 times, but then you got numb to it. Physically and mentally with the time. You know, so I got numb from that perspective and I managed to invest in the time because people decided they to invest in me. And that's the power of caring about each other. You cannot survive on your own. In prison, you don't survive because you're strong. You don't survive because you don't at all. You survive if you have people around you to protect you when you're the weakest. Someone who can fight for you, for your food when you can't fight for your own food. You know, someone to feed you when you feel like you can't eat. You know, someone to kick you when doing the wrong thing. That is the only reason you would survive. And that does not only apply to prison. This applies everywhere. If you don't have a community, people around you you trust, you have nothing. You wouldn't survive to have a good life. So that's the most important thing we want to have. And that is what we try to create to everyone who's coming out of Syria. Everyone who's trying to be a witness. Everyone who's trying to bring awareness of what's happening. Everybody who suffered, coming out, decided to share their story. We decided that the Syrian Emergency Task Force to protect them, to make them trust us, give them a safe place so they can share their story in the way that fits them, their profile, their experiences. And that's why I'll just grab someone from the room. Not everyone can come publicly the way I do. This is the risk you take with that, and some people cannot take risks the way I can. In Syria, we have had multiple people that decided to come out with a lot of evidence, strong evidence, not just stories. Not just spoken stories, evidence of pictures, evidence of mass graves in Syria. In Syria, we had Caesar, who everybody heard of, but also we have the Gravedigger, the person who was part of the mechanism that the regime built to mass grave hundreds of thousands of people. And today we have with us, unfortunately, the name is not as charming. The Gravedigger is not a name one would not have, but that showed the reality of what the regime is making, mass graves for people. So I'll let him say a few words in my ears to say to you, because you're not allowed to hear his voice for safety reasons. All right? I have for 8 years, was tasked and forced to work with the Syrian regime for 8 years in opening mass graves and burying innocent people that being killed under torture, under starvation, and shot outside on the street for the protest by the Syrian regime. And with these 8 years over, if you listen to the courts that worked on these cases, there are over 1 million people that are being buried. And that's just the simple estimates of the brutality of the Syrian regime. And for 8 years, I was not allowed to have a vacation, to go to my family. I could not have a break, not even a single day. And every time they bring a truck of dead bodies, a fridge of dead bodies, the regime would give me a list. The list would have the name, the number of people that are dead, the branches, the prisons they're coming from, and the numbers usually in the truck are higher than the official numbers. So they give you 250 on the paper, sometimes it's 400 people. Just like the ones who were alive that were treated with the most brutality, the Syrian regime has even treated the dead bodies, the corpse, with that brutality. You were not allowed to show any mercy to these dead bodies. When you buried them, you had to throw them in that big hole that you made. Because they wanted to remove any connection between this dead body and their story and their life. And the regime has been an expert in forced disappearance, including children who are like 3 months or 3 years old. And during my time there, I was responsible for burying bodies of kids who were just a few months old. They used to bring children to that location of the mass graves. Those children had the torture marks, like they were tortured like just like the other adults. In addition to some of them, their skeleton will be just destroyed by, jumping on it with the military shoes of the soldiers. And I started in 2011, and I left in managed to escape in 2018, and yet the regime is still committing these crimes. So we had Caesar, who took the pictures of people who died under torture, and we had the Gravedigger, who was responsible for the operation of managing a team of 15 people to open the graves, and all these people are forced to do their work. If you don't do it, you get shot.